Hello, and hey, Bennett, everybody. Thank you for joining us today on another edition of our Inside Indian Country podcast. I'm Wes Benally, host of Inside Indian Country, and today I have a guest on who participates in a field that I have a lot of passion for. That's training and education for our tribal members and those in leadership. And today we have Lindsey Ray, Senior Tribal Programs Manager at Oklahoma State University. Welcome to the podcast, Lindsey.
Thanks, Wes. Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's, you've currently working with the Introductory to Tribal Finance and Accounting Certificate Program, run through the OSU Spears School of Business and the Center for Future Work, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that was kind of a mouthful for me, but
Yeah.
no, it's good. It's good. Hey, the reason definitely want to bring some attention to this is just as a practitioner in a public accounting firm, and working with different tribes all across the country. The OSU program is always brought up to us, asking, do you guys or have you guys heard of this program? And what's it like?
So the program really originated after the Oklahoma Tribal Finance Consortium. They approached us to help them address a training gap that they noticed within the tribes. So they sent out a needs assessment that was sent to all of the Oklahoma tribes, and there appeared to be a clear theme with the responses, and that was there's accounting and finance training existed for corporate and government sectors, but not specifically in the tribal space. So we then partnered with NAFOA, which is Native American Finance Officers Association, because they developed the Orange Book, and that covers the unique operating environment of tribal governments. And they helped create a lot of the content for the program from that book. And they told us, they were like, hey, you need to meet with Corinne Wilson with REDW because she was a big contributor of the creation of the Orange Book. So that's a little backstory on how REDW became a major partner in developing and facilitating some curriculum for us. You guys present about a third of the program sessions. I counted that up yesterday. I was like, oh my gosh, you guys do a lot.
Nice.
So like I mentioned, the needs assessment was sent out to Oklahoma tribes, and it was initially designed specifically for Oklahoma tribes. So we launched the pilot of the program in November 2018, and it was offered as an in-person offering, and we hand-selected a group of about 20 participants from Oklahoma tribes. We received a lot of good feedback from that, and so we opened the program up to the public in May of 2019, and we had about 35 participants in that. And of those participants, we had a lot from tribes that were out of state. So that's when we initially became aware that, this type of training may be more than just an Oklahoma need. It may be more nationwide. So we're moving forward as planned to offer the May 2020 program, and the pandemic hit. So we had to quickly convert all of our content to the online platform, and we offered our first online program January of 2021, and we attracted about 52 participants from all over the nation. The online cohort, again, kind of solidified for us that there's a national interest in this. And then so due to all that positive feedback, that's when we decided, okay, we probably need to have an online offering every year and an in-person offering. So we've been doing that every year, offering 2 different formats since about 2022. And then we also have our intermediate program that you guys are involved in as well, and we offer that every fall. And then across all of our tribal finance and accounting programs, participation has grown tremendously. We've attracted participants from about 258 different tribes and enterprises and from about 32 different states. So we're really thrilled with the reach that this program has and the attention that it's received.
Oh yeah, no, I mean that's definitely, we've heard it and seen it. So, you know, it's
Yeah,
definitely been a great resource for those that are wanting to learn a little bit more and get just more in tune with the various aspects of just working with the tribe, whether or not it's finance, the law component, or even just maybe some governance behind it. So that's been definitely
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Um, so you mentioned, there's different paths like a person who participates in this can take. There's the online version, which I've participated in, and then also there's the in-person piece of it. So if you could maybe just walk us through um, what the program experience would be like, for somebody participating in one of the two paths, and just what they can expect from that.
Of course. So, like I said, we offer two different formats every year. The online program is an 8-week program where the content is going to be presented in our online platform called Canvas. And each week, the participants will have certain modules that they need to complete. And the modules have videos embedded, they have discussion questions, quizzes, some assignments. And at the end of each week, after completing each week's modules, we'll hold a live Zoom session with the instructors from that week. So the participants have a live opportunity to kind of talk through some issues that they're having, any questions that they want to ask the instructors. Um, and the online program's been really great for those who aren't able to leave the office for a week. And for those that live in different states, like we get people from Alaska joining us.
Mhm.
And then we do offer the in-person program. It's held here on campus. It's a 3.5-day program, and we pack those days with content. And then we also have a fun networking reception that we have on the last night of the program. And personally, I feel that this offering trumps the online one because you get to have kind of the college experience being on our campus. You get to bounce ideas and issues off of others that are in the same shoes as you, going through the same challenges, and they build a camaraderie. Um, and then both offerings you're going to get the same content. So they cover the same topics that include accounting, auditing, taxes, grants, and business law as they relate specifically to tribal affairs. And participants for both of those programs, they're going to receive this really thick binder of materials that include the presentations, handouts, any additional resources that you guys provide to them. They're also going to receive a copy of the NAFOA Orange Book, and they're going to have the opportunity to receive some CPE credits. So that's going to be the continuing education for CPAs. And then something new that we added a few years ago is they also have the opportunity to receive 2 hours of undergraduate credit that they can then apply to their transcript if they do decide to go add it to their undergraduate degree. And then once they complete the introductory program, they can also move on to our intermediate program. So that is offered virtually each fall, and we break those up into about 2 3-hour live Zoom sessions each week, and we usually do those on Tuesday and Thursday afternoons, and that's about 4 weeks long. And that just provides a deeper dive of some of the topics and content that were introduced in the introductory program. And then they're going to get the same materials that the introductory people get. They're going to get the binder of materials, copy of the Orange Book, and then also some CPE credits as well.
Yeah, when I did the an opportunity to instruct the in-person class, I was driving along, and then this out of nowhere pops this huge university out of nowhere. Yeah,
Yep. Yep.
OSU. That was pretty cool to me. I was like, I was driving along, the next note, a lot of like farm boom, this huge university comes out of nowhere. So that was pretty cool. And yeah, you're
It's
right.
nice because
Yeah,
you get the college experience, but also like a small town feel.
yeah, yeah. No, exactly right, exactly right. And that, yeah, I thought that being able to be on campus and kind of just see what's there as far as resources go, then it's really cool that OSU is putting together the resources to help kind of push like an initiative like this forward. So that's been really cool. Um, so as far as as you mentioned that there's all obviously different you know um, opportunities as far as platforms on how to get this. Like, who do you think would be a good um, attendee from just what you guys have seen with
Yeah,
this program?
so this program's kind of unique, and I hate to say this, but it's valuable for any professional that's involved in tribal affairs. Just because the content was designed to be such a foundation.
Hmm.
Participants can come from different educational and professional backgrounds. Um, and again, since it's so highly specialized, it does make it relevant whether the participants hold an advanced accounting or finance degree or they have no formal accounting and finance education. It's a really great starting point for some of the entry-level positions in the tribe's financial and accounting department, but we've also had some people who have been in the departments for a long time, and they're like, this was a really good refresher for me. So in the past, our audience has extended beyond just tribal accounting and finance professionals. We've had some tribal leaders and executives. We actually, in our pilot program, had the president of a tribe attend, and her reason for attending was she wanted to better understand her tribe's finances so that she could make better financial decisions. We've had some council members, banking professionals, some within operations, and then one that really surprised me, and this was in the last online offering, was we had someone from IT, and he was actually their chief information officer. And he told us, he's like, I've had 20 years of job experience. I have 3 post-secondary degrees. But he realized that he needed to gain some financial knowledge to supplement that IT expertise because in meetings he was getting questions that were coming up that started to overlap with some of financial decision making. And so he told us after he attended the program, he felt way more comfortable in those meetings, had a better understanding of some of the financial decisions that his tribe was having to make.
Right, right. No, that's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up. The more and more that technology grows and this gets integrated within how you operate within the finance department or wherever you're at, the more and more, these IT professionals need to have an understanding of how some of this flow works or what this is, and so that's good. I'm glad that, that was a good good attendee. And you kind of talked about he had a lot of post secondary experience and gone through that. I'm curious, just from your standpoint, why do you think traditional accounting or like MBA programs leave our some of the professionals that work with tribes um, really not that prepared? I mean, obviously there's different dynamics, but I'm just kind of curious to get your viewpoint on it.
Yeah, so I've gotten my MBA from OSU. I think they do a really great job at teaching some basic business and financial concepts, but they don't really fully prepare professionals for the reality of working within a tribe. Tribal finance is much more than just budgeting or analyzing some financial statements. It's tied a lot to sovereignty, governance, and their tribal members. They also have some regulations they have to follow, and then thinking about more of their long-term economic development. So what we've seen from a lot of our attendees is that some may come from these academic programs with strong technical skills, so like the chief information officer guy, um, but they haven't been exposed to how tribal governments and enterprises operate or how those financial decisions impact their tribe as a whole. And so that's why I think it's important to create a program and a learning experience like this one. It kind of combines those concepts with some real world tribal perspectives and applications.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a good point. I mean, you know, we learn all the basics, but then, the dynamics of having a general counsel, or if you have a finance committee, or you have a law and order committee, then really kind of working all through those different, thoughts and leaders. And, I'm glad you brought up too about you have different types of leaders that come in. Cause, some of the discussions I had, with different, clients or just anybody in my network, that get put into these leadership positions, the assumption is that, hey, now you're a tribal leader, you should know everything.
Yeah.
You should know all the finance stuff, all the law stuff, everything. And, that's definitely not the case. And so, stuff like this definitely makes things a lot easier for them to kind of map their minds around. The mixture of is you kind of take a look at the agenda and take a look at the different, levels of professionals that, participate in this program. You have faculty from OSU, then you have, practitioners, maybe that, serve within the finance component, then you have other, attorneys. So I'm just curious, like, what was the thought process of actually, kind of putting together that type of, you know, uh, structure package, if you will, for this? I mean, was that intentional, or what did
Oh,
you guys know?
100%. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was so intentional. So like I mentioned, REDW came in very early on in the development of this program, and we wanted to create a learning experience that's going to combine some academic knowledge as well as practical application and the real world experience, right? Because you guys are experts in the field. So the facilitators who are working in these matters every day, they're going to bring the firsthand experience from working with these tribes and helping them navigate their own challenges. Um, I think what makes the mix of facilitators especially valuable is that participants, they're not only going to learn the research or the theory, they're going to hear firsthand how these concepts have been applied with your real life situations. Um, I think another incredible part of this is that the participants not only get to learn from faculty and the experts, but they're also going to build a connection with you and feel more comfortable reaching out to you with questions or challenges that are going to arise long after the program ends. So they're building this kind of network of resources that they can reach out to. Um, and I don't know if you've had any specific scenarios that you can talk about where a participant has reached out to you after the program, but I know for us, we've had inquiries about those that are interested in pursuing like an undergraduate or graduate degree in accounting, and what they need to do to get that started. But you may speak to how some of them have reached out to you.
Mm. Yeah, no, I mean, in several instances, we've had participants, like, for example, one big part of it is the compliance requirements around grants, right? Obviously, when you receive federal funding, there's a certain, set of, rules and regulations you got to follow. But what kind of comes around is, some of our clients that participate in the program, or maybe just anybody in the network, would say, hey, is there any updates, based on, I participated in the OSU program, I have all the, requirements and stuff as of that date. Has there been any updates or anything like that? And so, stuff like that pops up. Or, you know, um, are there any changes to anything that's been presented within the Orange Book? Should we maybe be considering some of those additional? So it really does, um, I guess, if you will, um, initiate some of that inquiry, about updates and kind of staying on top of things. And I think that's been great, because that at least lets you know that, hey, participants have been actively listening, participating, and use that material beyond just that, 3-day, experience or that week experience, depending upon what, avenue works for you. But those have been, some of the conversations we had, and that's been really kind of cool, to say, hey,
Yeah.
you're actually listening to me.
Yeah, I know. You're actually paying attention.
Yeah. So that was kind of cool, to hear that.
We love to see it. Yeah.
Yeah. So if kind of thinking back to that, where do you think, when at the end of the program, right, when a participant, goes through it, they get a certificate, and have you um seen where, that might help in kind of their progress or in their current role at whatever tribe or tribal organization they're working at? Has that come back to you guys to say, hey, that's actually helped me, either, maybe move up or, just provide more solidarity around, my knowledge of this specific topic and stuff like that? Have you heard any stories like that come to mind?
I think the certificate really does help give people the confidence and allows them to move up in their career. Um, it also gives them a stronger understanding of the why behind they do the work every day.
Hmm.
I've heard from a lot of the participants that they're a member of the same tribe that they work for now. And so I think that just kind of adds another level of connection to their tribe and it makes it a little more personal for them. So they're contributing to the growth and success of their own tribe. Um, I do think that participants, when they receive this certificate, it's from an accredited university. And for a lot of these participants, it's kind of significant because they may not have had the opportunity to pursue a traditional college degree. And so I think receiving recognition from an accredited university, it's meaningful to them. It's an accomplishment and a point of pride for a lot of our participants.
Right. No, that's a good point. That definitely, having something from an accredited university does, bring a sense of, it's accomplishment, and, I've gone through this, and, that actually, it's that's pretty cool. Well, Lindsay, we're going to, get to wrapping this up, but, ultimately, for anybody listening out there, um, definitely had a great time participating with the program in person, and also, being able to participate on the online version is definitely cool as well. Well, hey, thanks, Lindsay. I appreciate your time. I know that you're prepping up for the in-person meeting, and, just want to say, hey, good luck out there, and thank you for all that you do, and definitely resonating across Indian country on, making sure that we're all up to speed on all these, different finance, and, law matters, if you will. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.